And good morning. Sure is, 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from CMG Financial, Eliot Rodriguez back with us. Morning. So how you doing today?
Doing good. Good morning, Roswell.
Keeping busy?
Yeah.
Well,
that's an understatement still.
Well, the real estate market's still smoking hot right now, isn't it? It's just thing I'm seeing going up, it's selling like days, weeks later.
It's not slowing. It's not slowing down.
Yeah.
The market is, I don't know what's going to happen because it can't just keep rising forever either.
Yeah. There's got to be a burst of a bubble at some point.
If you pay attention for the past month, it seems to be that it kind of slowed just a tip, but it's staying steady. Not like slowed down and now you're seeing houses being sold for less.
It's kind of plateaued, maybe?
Kind of plateaued for just a moment. We'll see for the next month or so if the prices keep going up or not. But, oh, my God, dude. I was like, I was looking at the house that I sold 4 years ago, and I was like, no way.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I should not ever move to it. I should have just sold it now.
Wait, it's funny you said that. I was I had a house for about 10 years, and I think it's changed owners a couple times since I've sold it. But I saw it up on the market again, and they've redone the house. They painted it. They redid the kitchen and everything.
Okay.
And that house, they're asking about $100,000 more than what I sold it for about 6-7 years ago.
It's totally nonsense, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Well, I was telling my wife, I was like, babe, we should have just painted the fireplace white and sold it for this much more. Like,
yeah.
But I don't even know why people paint the fireplaces white. If it doesn't go with the house, don't do that.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
But
a
it's
good
funny
idea.
because literally that's the only thing that is different from the house. And it's like, my goodness. I make the joke to her, it's like, we should have just want to spend a bunch of money on white paint and painted that. No, but it's just the market change and the time and everything. But it's
supply and demand. That's what it's all about.
It's interesting to say the least, you know. So, and the other day the market went up. And then it went down, and it went up. So waiting to see what's going to happen for this week or next week and see what happens.
Sure.
But,
so, and I know supply and demand and everything, that all affects everything. But, like, when the supply and demand changes, because at some point it will, the market will shift, and it'll be a seller's market versus a buyer's market and things like that. Will that affect the property values so much? Or do you think these prices, like, are they inflated for the reason right now? Or do you think they'll start, they'll kind of plateau here for a bit? Or because rarely do real estate prices go down, but they've creeped up quick here in a short amount of time. Well, are they going to sustain? I guess
to the whole United States, if you think about it. We are hearing records, price sellings. That is happening. It depends, what the Feds continue doing.
Right.
That's gonna. The market. You've been listening. The recoup of the whole United States feels very slow. Okay, guy in the White House is not doing it the same as the other guy.
Still a lot of uncertainty out there on where
everybody's a little worried, and now everybody's talking about more coronavirus, issues,
more closings, lockdowns,
and so
mandates, whatever.
That's gonna affect everything if you think about it.
Sure.
So that's the part that's difficult for the Feds because now the Fed's gonna have do we have to go and buy more bonds out, or what's gonna happen? Because now the bubble has kind of inflated so much, if you think about it, and that's the question that I've been saying for the past, month or so. Is like, can't just keep raising and raising and raising forever. It's impossible, And
at some point, it's got to plateau or burst or something.
One or the other. The cool part about it is that there may not be enough houses, but there's still houses coming in.
Yeah.
And I have always say that, you can't stop the green machine.
Well, I would imagine,
it's going to continue because people are going to fix the house and sell it.
Sure. Well, and supply and demand, if the demand's always higher than supply, that's going to spawn more growth, more house building.
And that's just the reality.
And that's what, we live in a unique little world here in Southeast New Mexico in terms of real estate.
You're lying about that.
It's very interesting. Like, you could buy a house here in Roswell, and I'll just use $100,000 because that's a nice round figure. You buy a house in Roswell, you pay $100,000 for it. You go 30 miles south, and you could tack on another $30,000, $40,000 to that house price.
Well, even here in town, you could be on the west side of town and go to the east side of town. Now, it depends where you're at, north to south or mid-range into the town. the numbers change drastically.
Yeah.
Which is very crazy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Location,
Now,
location.
location. They used to say that a lot before, and like, they ain't kidding about that.
Yeah.
One thing that you have to think that is very interesting is kind of about balancing out somewhat, because now you can still go somewhat to the middle town, and even some places down south, depending on the area, that they're still getting good prices for the homes still, especially if they're fixing, upgrading and so on, and they still building houses. You're gonna have to put houses somewhere,
Right?
Okay? And as you can see, they're still building everywhere, even south of town, stuff
Sure.
like that. So depends how much more goes to different areas,
Sure.
and who is spending the money to it, and how big they're going to be.
Sure.
That's going to determine. My wife and I were like, because she's still on the hunting phase about it. Like, yeah, maybe we'll get another house. Like, but we just sold one 4 years ago. But I think she just wants to get something that is a little different.
Sure.
Different neighborhood.
Yeah.
And a little better, but that we don't have to do anything because we always have fixed homes.
You're like, I want a house that's ready to move in the
me.
neighborhood that's more to what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's coming to the realization that maybe there's not the house that she wants that she's gonna be able to find. And we've been talking about that a lot. It's like, so just continue fixing the extra few things that we have here, and we just wait it out until the right place come available. But no, it's coming. The market is going in and out, in and out, in and out. And I always tell my buyers, that, hey, don't worry about that. Okay? Don't make the hasty decision and buy the wrong house because you think you're not going to get another house.
There'll always be more
There's
houses.
going to always be more houses, know. And CMG, we're strong, so I love our company. That they just steady and
and this is something we've said we've said this pretty much every time we talk on the radio here, but CMG Financial is the best of both worlds. You've got the large, huge company that is private company that is CMG Financial.
Correct.
So with that, they've got the muscle to move the mountains and things that need to happen sometimes.
Correct.
But because all of their agents and things are local level folks that are right here in the community and everything else, so Eliot's independent enough where he's like a local guy here and do his thing. But when he needs the big guys to come move the muscle, he's got the CMG backing to do that. So it's the best of both worlds. You've got the power and conveniences of having a big lender work for you, but at the same time, you get the personalized stuff that you miss when you have a big lender, like the gauntlet of phone calls, the personal service. How many times can you call your big national lender here and call and have a conversation with a live person talking about your particular case without going through a computer gauntlet of stuff, and then the person on the other end has to read your history on a computer before they understand your situation.
Plus, and like we spoke before, the problem is that you don't have a true interview when you do an application on some of those places that you go online.
Yeah.
Nothing that is wrong with that. I get it. Okay. And some people are more, technically, savvy than others.
Yeah, if you're that person where you kind of know
you
your
may
own
be
thing.
able to do okay. The problem is this: there's a lot of missed things that when you go and do an application. I tell people do an application real quick for me, because a lot of people still want to go to the face to face. I don't have no problem with that because that's what we want anyway. In that way, we can truly find out.
Sure.
But even on the phone and a true conversation, because I'm still eventually going to meet you face to face. It's okay to do an application so I can get kind of moving faster. It's not the same thing to sit down and expect me to do the application right there and give you an answer right there.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I didn't have no time in the world to do nothing else. But
it's not like your desk and you open up. Here's a file with all you fill that out, and then he's got a stamp that says approved right after. He just spits it right up
the
there.
Scenarios are so much different for every single individual.
That works in Looney Tunes.
That's why I love my job. I mean, not every deal is the same.
Absolutely,
and I love it. And my PA, Alejandra, and my processor, Cynthia, she's always like, when there's an issue, it's like, all right, let me send it back to you so you could do your magic. It's like, what do you mean magic? They're like, you guys putting way too much faith in me. But I love that because they know that if there's something that the individual don't fit right, that I'm gonna find a way to figure it out.
It's a puzzle,
and it's so crazy.
It's like if I move a number here and move it, that now the planets align. It's just one of those things. Yeah.
And it's been interesting to say the least lately for some of the stuff that I've been coming across. Like, oh my God! But like I always say, if the borrowers follow my instructions, follow my lead. Okay, I'm not telling you to do anything wrong, break the law, nothing like that. We
Sure.
don't do that here in CMG.
You're
If
establishing
you-
a plan for them, basically.
Exactly. If you're thinking, let's go to CMG, they'll bend all the rules and do
Yeah.
everything. Sorry.
I know a guy.
Maybe you could go next door.
Hey,
you know?
this house fell off the truck just the other day. Well, you know.
You know, we
Forget about it.
we don't do that kind of stuff here. But if you were listening to what I had to say,
Right.
and follow my lead, it may take you a month, it may take you 2 or 3 months, it may take you 6 months, the most, maybe a year. Worst case scenario. Okay, be surprised how fast you can actually buy a house. And
Absolutely.
I really believe everybody should have a house. If you can afford, you know,
It's the
if you're
American dream.
If you're renting,
Yeah.
or if your in-laws already tired of you and they need to kick you out of the house,
Yeah, you have to live somewhere. Might as well live somewhere that you're
is
investing
yours.
in yourself,
Yes.
as opposed to paying someone else's
I
investment.
100% believe that's everybody's
Because that is the one thing on the planet. Nothing else on the planet works like a house. A house is that one thing that you live and need and have to survive, but it truly is an investment. That is
Correct.
the one thing that you own, that you live and need and have, that can truly increase in value. No other product does that. And I don't care, like car collectors, no, because 99% of cars go down in value. And not everyone drives the rare Cadillac or Corvette that goes up in value. It's the house is that one thing that you live, use, and breathe every day, but at the same time, you're actually investing in yourself with it. It's not like
That is
mutual
true.
funds or anything else where you're put money in there and kind of forgetting about it till it's time to retire and keep adding. This is different. This is a different type of thing. You're constantly, and every little thing you do to that house can impact it positively and negatively. Sure, you can paint the whole house pink or do something, but good luck trying to sell that sucker. That's like, I don't want to live in that thing. But at the same time, you're like, ooh, I bought a house. Oh, I'm going to change the carpet, or I'm going to, update the kitchen. Next thing you know, all that the couple $1,000s you put in to fix that, you're now going to get that. You're going to see that back in your investment, because as soon as you sell the house, now you can ask another 10 grand on the sticker price because you got a brand new kitchen in there, and that's what we're talking about. And odds are pretty good that if you buy a house, live in it for 5-10 years, when you're done, that house will be worth more than when you bought it.
And that is a fact. I mean, let me tell you something. I've been doing real estate for myself for 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been in financing for a little over 12 plus. Okay. I have to actually go and check out how long, but 12 plus. Sometimes I consider myself, a baby, in the group in some ways. But I'm amazed sometimes some of the old guys that have been there forever, like,
Sure.
what's happening, because that doesn't make no sense. Okay. Why would you do that? You would think you have more knowledge or more wisdom than I do.
Sure.
Okay. But maybe because in the past 25 years, I have bought and sold. Okay.
Sure.
So I've been in both sides of
Sure.
the quarter.
You've done other facets of this
Exactly.
of the transaction. So
And
to
then
speak,
I do business. I was the business banker for West Fargo. Was here 7 years for West Fargo, 5 years of
so
business.
you kind of got experience on that corporate side we're
Yes.
talking about, where and let's face it, everyone's
You need that.
everybody's seen the Wells Fargo documentaries and stuff on TV. You see the kind of games and things that are happening in major companies like that. You've seen, been there, done that, got that
Correct.
T-shirt.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is like I done the run, for a while, and I done a little of everything. I went down the creek, I went up the hill, I done a little everything.
Without the paddles, with the paddles, all of
you
it.
name it. I've been there. I mean, for the folks that are listening, if you think having bad credit is impossible to you ever buy a house, don't even think that.
No.
I've been there. Okay, when I was younger, my credit went to where it's supposed to go, but I was able to fix it. And that's another thing.
All you need is the plan.
Yeah, you need somebody to guide you to get to where you need to. And trust me, I love doing that because it's very interesting, and I
Sure.
love helping people buy a home. And a lot of people, but you make money. It's like, no, it's not about all the money, okay? Because I can definitely go and flip.
Well,
I flip burgers at McDonald's if I wanted to.
Yeah, but say
so.
he likes to eat. He likes to live in a house, and this is his
just
job.
like everybody
This is
else.
what he does.
But the thing is this: I love helping people get into their places because, like my wife and I were talking about, I think it was last night. Yeah, I think it was last night, and she was talking about when she bought her first home. Which is the home that we live on right now.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. That that's the
Full
case.
circle moment.
We'll circle back. And she was telling me how excited the moment was for her. And every time that we have bought a house, done a few of those things throughout the time that we have, been together. And when she sees me helping people buying houses, she's like, it's amazing.
Sure.
So she enjoys it just the same.
Yeah.
She doesn't know the customers, but she knows some of the houses.
That the thrill of knowing, because you know that experience. There is nothing like that experience when when that day when you've closed on your house and the real estate agent's handing you the key and saying, "Welcome to your new home.
This is yours.
This is yours." And I know you've been thinking about it and talking about it, but when that day actually comes and they put it in your hands, you're like, yeah, you want to walk in there and roll around on the floor? God bless you. It's yours now. Do it. It's a different feeling, especially the first time ever you've been living with your parents or renting from somebody, whatever your case was. You were always investing in someone else's stake, and now you're like, you know what? Now you're in the game. You have a piece of the pie, the American dream of which we talk about.
And that's huge.
You have a house, and if you pay your bills on time, no one can take that away from you.
Nobody.
That's yours.
And that's the part that is so amazing. Okay, we live in such a great country that we can do that. Even with all the COVID-19 and all the nonsense that's going on, we're still in the greatest place in art. I mean, listen, go and check out the news and what's happening overseas and other places. You'll be like, oh yes, I love America. If you truly look at all those things, you'll be like, oh, I'm not in a bad place, because some places are way worse.
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
And this is the part that is so amazing. When I was selling one of my properties just recently that I sold in the beginning of the year, I had an individual that actually listened to me. Okay, and I love this. This thing happens constantly all the time, and it's an amazing experience that I can actually help somebody buy a house. I mean, I'm part of your family for the next 30 to 45 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're doing real quick in a couple 20 days or so, and it happens, and if the customer does everything and give me everything that I need, and the agents does their part, we can get any deal super fast too as well. Okay. CMG is all out. I have such an awesome company, such an awesome team.
So it's time to pick up the pace. The pace can be picked up.
The pace, they pick it up, and it's so awesome. Like I told Ted all the time, I'm not trying to rush any deal, but if I need a rush, I need to get this done, and we'd get it done.
Sure. And let's face it, your clients, they want it done quick, because
sometimes they do. Yes.
There's nothing harder than you're waiting, and you're like, oh, I can't wait till we move in that house.
I tell some of my customers, listen, because I bugged the heck out of you for the first week or two, and now I'm not talking to you for at least 3 or 4 days, and I'm just sending you a few messages. Everything is good. It's all right. Relax. If I'm not telling you anything, it's good news.
Yeah, no news is good news, right? Yeah.
But they get a little like, oh my God.
Sure, you're excited, anticipation, nervous.
And I love it. Yeah. And I remember telling this guy in Artesia, all right, listen, do this, and we'll get that credit score where it needs to be so we can get you a house.
Sure.
Just follow my lead. And he did. And then when I put my house in the market, he was interested in mine. And the funniest thing is, another fellow wanted to sell his, and I got introduced to them, and I actually parted them off together.
Oh, nice.
I really did. It's funny because he was in Artesia. He was going to come over here and was going to drive back and forth. And I was, in a way, people understand it's not always about the money.
Sure.
It's about taking care of people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's the experience.
The Bible says you reap what you sow.
Absolutely.
Okay? And the funniest thing, and this is why the punchline on this is so interesting and so cool. So the guy that wanted to come and see my house, and I got in touch with the other guy that had a house in Artesia. Okay. They actually knew each other.
Small world.
A small world. Okay. And he ended up buying his house, and the guy in Artesia is actually living here. The funniest thing that is so amazing, I still sold my house to somebody else. Okay. So, try not to have no conflict of interest.
Sure. Exactly.
And at the same time, I got him talking, and he like, well, I'm here and this and that. So same kind of situation that the other guy, I got him to buy. He bought his house. His credit went up. We fixed a few things. I tell him do this, just the same as I told the other guy.
Yeah.
I'm under contract right now as we speak, and he's buying a house here now.
Awesome.
And it's a full circle.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. And CMG gives me the tools to take care of all these people. And this is what I love to do.
And here's the thing. The tools you're giving them through these plans, these are the tools you need that will go beyond this. So you're not back in those situations. It's your household finances, unfortunately, It's like diet and exercise. You got to eat healthy. You got to exercise to stay healthy and fit. If your finances aren't much different, you got to be on top of it. You got to pay your bills. You got to make sure you come up with a plan. You can't overextend yourself. You got to know when to use credit, when to pay off the credit. Credit's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing and a very dangerous thing. You got to make it work for you. And that the plans that Eliot give you, I don't care. The end game's to get a house for that moment. But the plans he's given you are going to give you the end game for everything else too.
Talking about end game, just thinking Marvel, okay?
Yeah.
Remember when the whistle told Tony started like one?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do some sacrifices to get that end game.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. If anybody out there take this, if you're working with me or working with any lender, okay, if they tell you do not do anything new in financing, no credit while you're working the process.
That's the golden rule.
Please listen. That's the golden rule. That's that one thing that is like, it's like that movie, like one thing and you in the end game and you make it happen.
More people lost their houses or lost their ability to get those loans because they went and bought a bunch of furniture or bought a new car or bought something when they're in the process of closing for that. Because all of that impacts your credit rating, good, bad, and different. And when they're in that process, any of those details can throw basically the numbers off. And so they're like, oh, well, you just because and the way they accumulate credit scores is a little different nowadays than how they did it 20, 30 years ago.
It's a wild animal, I'll tell you.
I mean, there's a lot more variables thrown in. And what it creates is a lot more math equations, like the debt to income ratios and things.
Yeah, it's
and
not only that; it's just so much into it.
Yeah,
I mean that's the biggest.
Yeah,
because
but you're messing with that, and that's why it throws your home loan into kilter there.
I'm actually in the middle of a deal right now that the guys. I even tell them, I think you guys are testing me. Okay, and I have never told that to a borrower ever before in my life. I was like. You guys are testing me, and I try to stay nice and positive. Like, and I was making the joke to Ted. I'm like, hey, I think the God of loans still love these people because they're still approved, even though they're doing all these things. But guess what? Now it kind of came back to bite us in the butt.
Oh, did it?
Because they keep doing stuff, even though I tell them don't do this stuff. It's like, like, well, now this is the part that my processor is saying. I'm sending it back to you so you could do your magic. It's like, what magic? I don't have no magic.
This thing's,
I'm not Harry Potter.
Well, again, it's back to what you said earlier. You reap what you sow.
Exactly. But now I have to work it out in a way to see if I can fix it for them.
Sure. But they've got to understand, they've got to listen to you because even if you fix it this time, if they keep doing the same thing, you're not going to be able to fix it after a while. Yeah, and this is the point that he's talking about.
If you take one step forward, does not take 5 back.
Yeah, this is a thing that when we're talking about your lifestyle change to own a home, this is a change forever because your finances are the key in keeping that home and maintaining and growing it. And once you have the home, that's like your ticket to the game. Now you got to keep it, and you got to keep going with it because now that you got your ticket, everything you're doing is for you. Correct. You pay your bills, you're doing everything. You're investing back into you, and next thing you know, you start building up some equity in that home, and next thing you know, that $100,000 home, you've paid 30, 40 grand into it. Now you buy your next home, you could buy a $140,000 house for the same price you're buying your house now with, and that's.
And remember, like you said, there's not one house that I sold these 25 years that I sold it for less money than what I bought it.
Yeah,
not one. Okay. Now I understand that can happen.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's a lot of factors that will contribute to that.
Yeah.
But in general, it shouldn't. Okay. I understand if you bought it last year to this year.
Yeah, you got to give it some time.
Well, I don't know. This time frame is a little different. It is
a bit unusual. Yeah, you could see very huge up and down volatile numbers there.
But in general, just 1 year, don't expect too much out of it. But not lately. It's a little different this time. But at the same time, you can always upgrade to the. And I always tell this to people. Maybe you buy your starting home now, okay? And maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how you handle things, and you follow my plan or what I give you, because everything that I tell any customer is so they can buy a home and they can still keep it.
Yeah.
Not for you to lose it.
Well, and you're kind of like what you were saying earlier with the volatility of the numbers. That's like real estate's like anything else. There's the investment side, but there's the very much like gambling side of wrestling, like like real estate, like your stock markets and stuff. And so in a world environment we get today, that's more of the gambling side. And if you don't know what you're doing or know just enough to be dangerous, that's going to bite you.
Yeah.
And because you get these people, it's like, well, I'm flipping houses. That's that game.
I know. I feel bad when they like spend too much money fixing one.
you got
to like, well, we want to sell it for this much. They're like, we went there.
Yeah, that's
we went there.
well, that's the point. Is you got to know what you're doing. You can make a lot of money doing it, but it's a gamble if you don't. And you may buy something because you bought it quick, and you may have paid too much for it. And guess who's going to eat that when you can't turn it around?
Exactly.
That would be you. And if you can't afford that, guess what? You just welcome to gambling, my friend. You just lost, crapped out.
Correct. Yeah, and follow what the real estate agent is telling you and their advice. Obviously, in the end of the day, the buyers has the saying on everything. And
generally, your customers are different. They're like, no, I'm looking for my home. I'm trying to set the foundation for my family to create and that's the type of real estate we're talking about.
Yeah, and in the end of the day, when I'm dealing with customers, I still have to give them choices.
Yeah,
they need to make their own choice. It's not up to me how far they want to take it. I advise you, hey, maybe you shouldn't take it that far.
Sure.
But in the end of the day, they still have to make their own decisions, and they're grown up adults.
Absolutely.
So
well, and you the individual are going to reap the repercussions for it. You listen to Eliot here. He's gonna put you in a good position to set you up to be there. But if you don't follow those, or once he gets you there, you choose to make decisions that don't line up with the plan he's given you, then you're going to reap the repercussions for that. Good, bad, and different. It's what it is. Now it could be good sometimes. Maybe you picked up some knowledge and like, no, this is a sweet deal. And Elliot's like, okay, and then you do it and it works out, awesome. But that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So I just saw the time. We probably need to wrap things up. If you are interested. And now, don't forget, Eliot at CMG Financial. He's not your real estate agent. He's not the guy that's picking the house for you.
I'm the one that gives you the money.
He's the guy that's helping you work, get the finances and get you to do that. But if you're, and probably he's the guy you need to talk to first. If you're talking about buying a home, before you hit the real estate agent with your goals and dreams, come talk to Eliot at CMG Financial. Let him give you where you're sitting at right now and put you in like, okay, if you at the numbers you're giving me and all this, the house price range is about $150,000 that you're looking for, whatever that is, and then he can get you pre-approved and kind of give you a window of exactly what will work in the plan you're trying to set up, and then you can go house shopping. But get the numbers lined up first with Eliot here. Give him a call. You can call him direct. I got to move my glasses because my vision's so bad. You can call him direct on his cell. Probably the quickest way is the cell because he's in and out of the office all day. 719-237-4680. If you want to call the office, though, you're more than welcome. 575-208-2356. And, of course, you can email. You can actually go and learn more about Eliot at his website. It's erodriguez.cmgfi.com. Or you can email Eliot with questions, same address, except for change the first dot with an at. erodriguez at the little a symbol at cmgfi.com. And of course, Eliot's got Facebook and everything. Just look for Eliot Rodriguez. Shoot him a message.
See what we've been doing, and you'll be very impressed with what is there.
Absolutely.
We're there to help you. Okay?
Absolutely. And please, if you're like, our credit's too bad, give him a call. Let's talk about it because you know what? Okay, maybe today you can't, but 6 months or a year from now, you might be in a position where you're ready to make your first mortgage payment, and that money goes back to you.
Yes, and we said it. Every customer, every time, no exceptions, no excuses. We do that at CMG. We want to help everybody be able to own their own home.
Absolutely. That's the end game. The American dream for everyone.
Of course.
That's the point. Well, thank you, Sarah. As always, I'm gonna do better getting you scheduled. I keep getting missing, and then I forget.
That's all right.
And,
no big deal.
It's just been one of those like last couple weeks.
It's been interesting to say the least. I understand that totally.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, 9:55. Quick news.